Alright guys, welcome back to the second video on this lovely Wednesday evening. I'll tell you that the winner of the topic this evening was my mom. Go figure. Shout out mom. Hi mom, check me out. And she wanted to discuss transitioning back into society after a long time of incarceration or prison or jail or whatever it is. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. That's kind of a tough one. It's a little emotional for me. I've been in and out really since I was like 18, 19 years old, and I'm 39 now. I've had long stretches of time, 3, 4 years, 5 years. This last stretch was almost 9 years I went without going back. And what they call that, the technical term for that is the recidivism rate. And the recidivism rate in the United States of America is 70%. It actually used to be higher, it used to be 85%. So if you think about it in terms of numbers, right, you got to think about it in terms of numbers. That means that 7 out of 10 people who are arrested go back to jail after they're released. And then like another one that I thought was kind of funny because I'm a little more prepared for this video, but I'm still winging it. I thought was kind of funny is that if you can make it 3 years, that 70% drops down to 40. Which is crazy. That's 40%, right? That's 4 out of 10. So we're saving 3 people's lives as long as they can stay out for just 3 years, right? And then out of that 70% of the recidivism rate, 68% of them are 21 or under. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, what's wrong with the youth, right? And I always say something funny, and I'm going to try to watch my words here, but instead of just saying the R word, I will say stupidity comes with youth. It's just ingrained in the genes. But I don't know if that's exactly everything, right? It might not be. I mean, because you could think about a number of factors. I mean, is it a nuclear family? Is this person just being raised by their mother? And I can just tell you from experience, I've done a lot of time. Like I said, almost 12 years. Every single guy I met, almost every single one of them are missing their father. I would say, let's say 95%. Like 95% of them are missing their father. So they don't have the nuclear family. So they got their mom, and their mom is trying to take care of them. Dad's missing or gone or left or whatever. Passed, maybe passed on. Let's just give him a benefit of the doubt, right? She's trying to make a living. She's trying to take care of all these kids or a kid or whatever. So she's gone. So this kid is raising themselves. And when kids raise themselves, trust me, I was kind of one of them. It don't work out really well. You make a lot of mistakes and you end up in and out of jail or in trouble or juvie or whatever. My nephew's actually in juvie right now. I can't wait for him to get out. When I was going through there was a 10-year period where I was in and out from basically my entire 20s I spent incarcerated every single year. I didn't miss a year. I got out of prison when I was 30. So, I mean, and then I started wising up, but that's again, I am going to credit that a lot of that to the CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy, and the thinking for a change course that I took, because then I started realizing that I was in control of my own thoughts. It wasn't, the fucking cops. It wasn't the judge. It wasn't the DA or Susie Q down the street. It was me. I was making those decisions and those choices to do the things that I was doing. I mean, you can't argue with it. It just is what it is. And I hated that saying. My dad always had that. It is what it is, son. It is what it is, son. And I'm like, no, when I was young, I'm like, it isn't what it is. It's whatever you want it to be. Then I started realizing that I was actually stupid. It is what it is. So back to the subject. The father's missing. The mom is working. The kids raising themselves. And then you have societal interference, right? So you have the music. The music they're listening to is ridiculous. Have you heard rap music lately? Like any of it is ridiculous. I don't even know what they're saying. They're mumble rappers. They're garbage. They're trash. And the reason why they're being pushed to the forefront is because behind the scenes in the music industry, they're pushing the worst of the worst in that societal pool, right? like in that ethnic group. Um, Look at them. Look at the rappers that are out there. Do you think they could ever, like, you don't see people like that normally walking down the road, you know what I mean? Like $3 million in chains, all these watches and all this stuff and all this crazy stuff. And then another thing that I think is sad, very, very sad. When I was a kid, we lost to two giants, Pac and Biggie, right? And they were just like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, just like, John Lennon. Anyone that makes some noise, and it's just how it is. But in today's rap, they don't they'll barely start making noise. I mean, it'll be a little cricket, creep, bang. I don't understand it. I don't really know what's going on. It's like you'll get a rise of one of the artists, and then as soon as they start to rise and become famous, I don't know if it has to do with the internet and people sharing videos and all that, to where they just can know where the location is, and these guys just want their fame, right? Um, Sometimes people just do that just because they want the fame of being the person that ended that person, right? Which, like I said, is terrible. But so you have the music and everything that's being pushed down these kids' throats. Not to mention, like, I honestly blame the education. The reason I blame the education is because the cell phones, I think they're just now starting to pass something through legislation to where there's not going to be cell phones allowed in the classroom. But for like the past 10 years, these kids are just on their phones in class. They're not actually even, they're not studying, they're not doing nothing. Anything they want to know, they can just look up. Half of them don't know how to read or spell. I, I, I should have looked up the stat for where we are in that, but I know that we are far, 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 far down the list. We should be much, much higher. So you get the education, you get the societal pressure, you got the indoctrination, you got the music, and then you got the missing parent, right? You got the discipline missing. You got to have the discipline and the focus. So let me get back to where I started. So I'll use me as an example. Obviously, my situation is going to be different than other people's. Other people are going to have a different experience. It's all a matter of perspective. And perspective is, I could look at it and you could look at it, and we're going to see two different things. So what helped me stop that and get that almost 9 years out was as I started putting my priorities in line. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. I was sick of being in and out. I was sick of missing everybody's lives, all my nephews, my nieces, and my son. My son. I missed most of his life because I was selfish and idiotic. And I didn't want to learn a lesson. I didn't want to listen to my father. I had a father. I was lucky. I shouldn't have been there, but I was. Anyway, point being this, I got my priorities in line. And I got super focused because I was pissed. And I think that anger is a good thing. If you can steer that in a good direction, anger is a good thing. You don't want to be angered outwardly, you know what I mean, towards other people or physically harm other people. You don't want to do that. But what you want to do is you want to take that pain, that sorrow, and you want to turn it into anger, which then becomes fuel and drive behind what you actually want to do, right? So with me, I got out in 2018. My dad drove all the way over to Monohoy to pick me up. He surprised me. My brother was there. My son was in the van. He popped up out of the back. It was great. My beard was way down here. I hadn't seen anybody I loved for a long time. Um, and that's what I did. I just priorities. I focused. I got out. I put in, I think it was 41 or 42 applications. Every single day, I would call each of those companies back and ask them if they had gotten my resume, if they had gotten my application, if they were still hiring, if they needed any other help at any other position. I wasn't hungry. I was starving, okay? I was absolutely starving. I wanted a shot. No one would give me the shot. It's just how it is. So once you get that scarlet letter, it's the big L. It's the L on the forehead, the loser. Once you get that felony, once you get that record, you're going to have a very, very tough time making it. And that is why, in a nutshell, the recidivism rate is 70%, and especially in the youth, because they don't have any opportunities, and the people they look up to are idiotic and unrealistic. It's in the matrix. It's like a part of the matrix. There's puppets The strings are behind the scenes pulling these artists, and these kids are looking up to them, and they're like thinking this is what it is, or they all want to be influencers or on social media, or that not everyone has something to give, right? You have to be able to cover some ground and get some experience before you're able to give anything back. Like, no one's going to listen to me if I was talking to them about the stock market, right? I know about the stock market. I'm well versed. I barely have any money in it. I don't really know very much about it. I'm not going to sit here in this channel and talk to you about it. Do I know about fucking up? Yeah. Do I know about prison? Yeah. Do I know about suffering and pain and mental illness and being addicted to drugs and recovery? Yes. I absolutely know that in and out like the back of my hand, okay? That's the problem. So we're going to have to do something to change it for the youth, because the youth are looking up the fools, charlatans. That's exactly what they are. So then when you're on the inside, the worst part about being on the inside is you have to be somebody that you're not, even though you don't want to be that person, because that person is horrible. It's a horrible human. When I was upstate, I had to be a monster. And I'm not a monster. Anybody that actually knows me know I'm a really nice guy. I'm funny, I'm flamboyant, I'm good to be around. Like, I just have this energy to me. When I'm there, I'm a monster. You don't want to talk to me. I'm very quiet, um, very standoffish. All I did upstate was learn and lift. The two L's: learn and lift, learn, lift, learn, lift, rinse, repeat for years. So when I came up for parole, I go in, I have all my ducks in line. I'm doing the right thing. By this time, I've got Thinking for a Change completed and CBT completed. So my mind's changed. But on the outwardly appearance, I'm upstate. I'm not changed outwardly. Inwardly, I am. So I come up, I got all my ducks in order. I see the parole board. And when I see the parole board, I'll never forget this. I will never forget this. I go up in front of this guy and I tell him my story. He's asking me all these questions. And at the end, he says, "Listen, Mr. Reed, I'm not paroling you. As far as I'm concerned, you could pound sand." Kicked me out of the office. I got a 6-month hit. All my stuff was in order. My mind was changed. Everything was good. And I remember I went with 2 other guys. And those 2 guys got paroled and got let out. But I didn't, right? And why? Why? I wondered why? Until I started doing the research and started talking to other prisoners, especially the lifers. The lifers up there, they get a bad rap. Like you definitely don't want to mess with the lifers, but they're like genuinely the best people to be around if you're upstate or if you're in prison, because they're never going home. And they have so much wisdom and they know everything about everything. I mean, those guys are just fantastic. That's why they get all these bachelors and doctorates and all this other stuff, because they have nothing else to do. You know what I mean? Nothing else to do. Either way, anyway, I come to find out that, and now, again, the people that stick out, you got the Tupac, the Biggie, the Malcolm X, the Martin Luther, John Lennon, all these people, John F. Kennedy, Trump. Look at this. Anyone that's putting the truth out, they try to end them. And I'm going to put the truth out here. The truth is, the parole board paroles dangerous criminals their first time around, because why? They want to keep that recidivism rate high. They know, undoubtedly, that these guys are going to return. And when they do, they're going to be able to sentence them to more time, because there'll be a higher number on the gravity scale. So when I found that out, I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. I'm like, how is it that these people are supposed to know what's going on and be protecting society, right? That's another misconception. People think that you go to prison or jail and you become better. They heal you. That's not the case. If you go in there and you're a decent person, you're coming out an animal. That's just how it is. So you actually get worse. And it does largely depend on the crowd you hang out with, who you're looking up to, what kind of education you're getting yourself, what kind of self-talk, CBT, all that stuff, okay? But either way, anyway, once that's done, right, and you think about that, you're like, wow, that's just astonishing that they're actually doing that. And I kind of actually thought to myself, am I going to say it in the video or am I not going to say it in the video? But once the population understands that, there probably going to be some backlash against the prison system, because the prison system is messed up. It is very messed up. So essentially, what I'm saying is if you have your stuff together, you get a parole hit because they want to get the most time out of you that they can because they know you're probably not going to reoffend. But if you don't have any of your shit together and you're talking to all your buddies up there, I'm gonna get out and I'm hitting the bags, I'm hitting the bricks, I'm hitting all this stuff, right? You get paroled. Oh yeah, go ahead on out there, Randy. You got this, brother. We'll see ya. That's how they look at it. And it's ridiculous because you got to think about like the people that are predators, the people that are rapists and murderers. And they do it all the time, especially with domestic violence, right? There's a lot of domestic violence in this country. Well, why is that? Because the punishment doesn't fit the crime. And they let them right out. So then, like, you got Susie and Randy, right? Randy beats Susie. Susie calls the cops. Randy goes to the county jail for 6 months, gets right back out. And then and Susie, right? Well, they could have prevented that. And what I think is largely missing is the education in the jail system and how we run it in this country. In other countries, it's not like that. I had the pleasure of having my cellmate just prior, to me getting in rehab. I was in jail for 11 months, this past 11 months, all of 2025. My last cellie was from Israel, and how the prison is over there is vastly, vastly different. You cook your own food. You have like a small little apartment. You get to go home twice a month. You get to go home. What? So that you can keep and reestablish that relationship with your wife or your girlfriend or your family or your kids. So you don't lose that. That is that's tremendous. That is absolutely a game changer. Nobody looks at other prison systems in other countries. We definitely need to fix this one. Like we certainly have to do it, but is it going to get done? I don't know. Am I the guy to do it? Probably not. You know what I mean? I'm aware of what's going on, but I have not the slightest clue on how to fix it. I can just tell you that this country does it this way, we do it this way, and their recidivism rate is nil, zero, close to none. And why? Because they're treating the prisoners differently and they're treating them according to their crime. I spent I, Anybody knows me knows I was in a high. Basically, what happened is I did some drugs. I blacked out. I was in a high speed chase, 32 miles from Newcastle to Pittsburgh. I got away. I got arrested for a retail theft down in the Burg. I spent some time down in ACJ. Spent some time in Butler. Spent some time in Lawrence County Jail. Went back to Butler, and my time in Butler County is for a retail theft. I am still technically on that time right now until I go to court, which is ridiculous. Do you want to know what I did? I snorted some things and then I snorted some things, blacked out, went into a Sheets in Butler, stole a Starburst pack, a Starburst, and an apple. And I did 11 months and I'm still on it. I could still go back to jail if I don't do what they tell me to do. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. I kept telling my lawyer for months and months and months, did the DA even read the affidavit? This is $4.50 worth of stuff. I've been down for months. I got a 9 to 23 month sentence for a high speed chase that covered 32 miles and it was 110 miles an hour the entire time. My foot never hit the brake. Not once, except for when I stopped. Okay? I got 9 months for that. 11 months for stealing a pack of Starburst and an apple in Butler County. Now, the scales of justice aren't always equal, right? And I understand that and I get that. But that is absolutely ridiculous. There's no way in the United States of America they should be doing those kind of things and punishing you at that kind of a level with that amount of time. My daughter's 21 months old now, okay? I missed 11 months of her life. Her first birthday, steps, walks, runs. She's just now starting to talk. Thank God that I'm here for that, okay? But that was some pain. And then that contributes to some mental health issues. And then once your mental health issues start going off of whack, and then you get out of jail and you can't find a job, and then you're listening to music that's trash and is rotting in your brain, and then you don't really have any good, solid friends because all the people you met and know and understand you were in jail. Yeah. Now I'm going to get on to how to change that, right? How I change that. I got out. I got focused. I got everything in line. I could not, absolutely would not accept no for an answer. I called everybody till I ran it down. Till finally I got sick of it. I got sick of being told no. I got the dirtiest clothes on that I could find. Now, this is the key. Dress the part, okay? And I went downtown Newcastle, fat as concrete, and I walked into the yard and I met with Anthony, and he gave me a job. He gave me a shot. He gave me a chance because he believed I could do the job. Also, it helps that no one else wanted the job, right? So all I had to do was show up every day and be better than anyone else around me. And within a year, I was being considered to take his job. I could probably still go down to that company right now. I could probably walk on him and get my job back like that. I don't want it, it's toxic. It causes cancer. The cement dust is terrible for you. And that's why I quit. Because you got to look out for number one. But my advice to anyone that's watching this video and you're in and out of jail and you don't know what to do, you need to get a higher power. I'm going to always stress that. Higher power, higher power, higher power. Okay, you need one. And then you need a direction and a goal of why you want to do those things. Like after that, I started believing in myself a little bit, right? So about 6 months, a year goes by, and I've always written music. I've always rapped. And I get my son, he's 13, he starts living with me. He wants to live with dad finally. And I'm so happy. Like I'm so happy, but I'm scared to death. I remember calling my mom up and I go, "Ma, I don't know if I could do this." And she goes, "You got this, T. You got this. You could do it." And I did. I did great. But once I got him and I started writing new music, and then I told him, I said, "Cam, I'm gonna record an album and I'm gonna release it and I'm gonna sell 1 million records." Now, why that didn't come to fruition is another video. I'm already way over. I'm only supposed to be at 10 minutes. I'm at 21, but this is a subject that I'm passionate about. You just got to get the higher power. You got to believe in yourself, and you got to refuse to take no for an answer. They're going to slam every door in your face. You got scarlet lettered. You're the loser, right? You're the one that was in jail, and you got to change everything that you're doing. You know what I mean? Literally everything. That's why in recovery they say people, places, and things. But I think it equally starts with you. You have to change your own mind. In life, it's you versus you, and you got to make sure you win. And a lot of you people out there are in your own way. You got to let that self-talk go. You got to stay positive on it. You got to watch motivational videos every day. Whatever you got to do. If you got to walk every morning through the woods and clear your head, if you got to listen to music and just change the music. Change it to some beautiful music. I never listened to country before in my life. Never. It was always rap. But I can't listen to rap anymore. It's disgusting. And I can't support. It's a genocide is what it is. It's just these young rappers coming up. It's a genocide. It's terrible. But either way, anyway, stay focused. Believe in yourself. Get out there. Refuse to take no for an answer. And just work harder than anyone else is willing to work. Okay, that's what I told my son. Very first and foremost, you got to figure out who you are. And just be that person no matter what. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in a couple of days.